It's been an interesting 1 hour, 30 minutes on the show today. And I want to say thank you for joining us, staying with us from the beginning. And this program is streamed live on YouTube. So you can do well to go to our YouTube. You can watch later. You can recommend. And most of the conversation that we've had today, please share as much as you can, because it concerns the government and they need to know that the citizens are also very much involved in whatever initiative they bring into the people. Thank you again for staying. Now it's time for us to look at some selected national dailies in Nigeria to actually look at what the country's mood is like. We see how this, take account of what the country is like. And that's what we'll be doing from now until the end of the show. That will be at the top of the hour, 10 a.m. But as tradition in the studio, we'll start with the Daily Trust newspaper, and then we move on to other newspaper. So let's start with the lead story on Daily Trust newspaper. It says, no personal interest in 15 trillion naira coastal highway project. That's coming from the Minister of Works there, David Umahi. Writers attached to the story says procurement didn't follow due process. Atiku insists. And why Tinubu is linked to Shogri family. You can get details of that on page 4 and a Daily Trust newspaper. Above the lead story, we killed many terrorists in Zamfara. That's coming from NAF. And then we have Bulgarian envoy. Others attend Salah Doba in Katsina. Page 23 has details of that story. And then condolences as First Abia civilian governor Bonaya Onu dies at age 72. And that's on page 22, the very big loss there. And then we have a pictorial of children having fun during the Eid al-Fitr celebration in Abuja and Lagos State. That was yesterday. The 11th day of April 2024. And then just below that, we have Disco's post 37 apologies to Band A customers in 1 week. That's now you're getting to see that you probably don't have Band A in this country.
Well, 1 million apologies to Band A users.
Exactly.
Who might be, at the end of the day, Band A and might have to pay
This is
more
really
for
interesting because I know that a lot of Band A will actually want to show this message.
I really look forward to us having a program with Band A users calling on the program to air and ventilate their opinions with regards to power supply. I can't
wait for that day as well. Page 18 has details of that story. And then we have APCON back CBN suspension of dollar collateral for Naira loans. Page 19 has that. I have no reason not to support APC-led federal government. That's coming from Bauchi governor. And then on Junior Pope, AGN suspend movies involving boat rides and Musawa Mons. It's really sad. The death of Junior Pope, the actor who lost his life, in the Annam River, crossing the Annam River. Get details of that story on page 23. And that's about the stories in front of the Daily Trust newspaper for today.
And we'll now be going to the Guardian newspaper. The lead story on the Guardian says hard times for addicts. Big story reads fresh concerns as youth get high on faeces, nutmeg, illicit substances. The Guardian has sort of a statistic there. An infographic stating seizure of assorted illicit drugs is at 1,606,799.09 kilograms. Also, the NDLA has made around 13,664 arrests, while offenders charged to court is at 5,570. So far, 3,412 convictions have been recorded. That story is on page 4 and page 5 of the Guardian on Friday. Below that, we see Nigeria records $3.2 billion loss in first quarter as oil production hits record low. This is it's a headline indeed, especially because the government has been so open about Nigeria's increase in the amount of crude oil it drills in barrels per day.
Exactly.
I think it says that increased from around 1.2 million to around 1.6 million barrels a day. And now looking at this headline stating that we've lost $3.2 billion in total in the first quarter. That's a sharp contrast.
Exactly.
Also, other stories there say Afenifere urges Southwest governors to get federal government's grants for farmers. That story is on page 27. And again, talking about the Lagos-Calabar Superhighway. Lagos-Calabar to be completed in 8 years at 4 billion naira per kilometer. Of course, if you watched the discussion segment of the Daybreak, you would have heard Mr. Emmanuel Osemeka mentioned that a kilometer of the road would cost around 4 billion and the total project costing around 15 trillion naira. That story is on page 3. Also, top 4 banks earn 8 trillion naira in 12 months, record 3.5 trillion naira forex gain. That's a lot of money. Nigeria may have lost $3.2 billion. Well, it made up for it in forex as regards to how much banks made in the last 12 months. And in power, Minister apologizes for jive on electricity consumption culture, cheap tariffs. You can read more on that story on page 6. Also, inquiry on Okwama killings. Journalists barred as stakeholders worry over fairness. Page 29 has that story. And finally, Christian elders link insecurity to foreign invasion. You want to know what exactly they're talking about? Read page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. And these are some of the stories spread across the front page of the Guardian on Friday.
Oh, let's quickly take a look at the Punch. At the masthead, we have Nigeria's oil production drops again, now 1.23 million barrels per day. That's coming from OPEC pre-20. And then law to terminate many cases of appeal court coming. AGF mentioning that page 12 has details of that story. And on Wigwe, Ogunbajo's families use U.S. firm for helicopter crash. Page 21 has details of that story. And then below the masthead, the lead story, it's on Lagos-Calabar Highway. Says federal government plans compensation in 9 states could cost a 15 trillion naira. And then the Tinubu orders payment of compensation for property owners in Lagos, Akwa Ibom, and 7 others. And the federal government extends eviction notice for property owners. Lastly, NSE says project will improve states' economies. And then we have a pictorial of the Sumu market. Government shuts the Sumu market, and someone looking at building demolition. Get details of that on page 6. And then make Yoruba teaching language in Southwest School, says Afenifere. That story is on page 14. And Junior Pope appearing again on the Punch. He said AGN suspend Riverside movie shootings and police launch probe. Page 3, 4, and 5. It must be elaborate. You get details of that on 3, 4, and 5. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, NAFDAC bans Turkey-made soap, tracks fake Indian injection powder. Wow, page 27. Okay, I think that's for, the skincare products and all of that. That's really loud.
Indeed. And
we have more, and let's see if we can take more papers.
Of course. So let's take the Vanguard newspaper. Of course, we've taken the Guardian. The top of the page reads, Zenith Bank grows gross earnings by 125% to 2.13 trillion naira. Also, Tinubu, Jibrin, Kalu, Uzodinma, Obi, others mourn as Ogbonnaya Onu dies at 72. Fortunate situation there. Orderly declares Fubara leader of PDP in Rivers. This is an interesting story. You can read more on this on page 12.
True.
This is as the crisis in Rivers State between the governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara, and also his predecessor, Nyesom Wike, takes an unexpected turn following the declaration by the former governor of the state, Peter Odili, who was initially, what some would say in Nyesom Wike's camp, some would call him Nyesom Wike's godfather of some sort. He has now declared support for Fubara by calling him the leader of the PDP
in the state.
Well, where the turn that this is going to take is something that a lot of Nigerians are really, really interested, in seeing, especially regarding the 2027 election and how it's going to be in Rivers State. Page 12 of the Vanguard has this story, and definitely we look out for new developments as regards the issues in Rivers State. Now back to the Vanguard newspaper. We see Junior Pope, how Fanta money I sprayed in river saved me. So the survivor is talking about how he sprayed Fanta money and how that money saved his life. Well, that story is on page 19. So you can read more on that. For the lead story on the Vanguard newspaper, we're still on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, but this time not about the cost of the project, but regarding the cost of toll fee. Uproar over costs as federal government proposes 3,000 naira per toll gate. How many toll gates are going to be there? How many times would you have to pay 3,000 naira? These are the questions that's on the mind of Nigerians, even before the bridge or the highway has been commissioned. I mean, it's a super highway that comes with super costs.
Wow, so 3,000 naira is a lot.
Nigerians should really look forward to some premium billing there. Other riders there states cars to pay 1,500 naira, trucks 5,000 naira. That's according to the Minister of Works, David Umahi. There says landmark resort jobs won't be affected. Okay, we look forward to seeing how that pans out. Also, property owners to be compensated. It is a highway to fraud, waste. That's according to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Also, federal government not tired of inflicting pains on Nigerians, according to Labour Party. Well, really, so they are not tired of inflicting pains. One would wonder what they are tired of doing. But in any case, any toll above 300 naira is unacceptable. This according to the Coalition of United Political Parties. So the federal government is proposing 3,000. CUPP says 300 naira. Well, we wait and watch with keen eyes to see where the compromise is going to be.
Exactly.
However, luxury bus operators, KIK, say passengers will bear the brunt. Of course, Nigerians are going to be the ones to bear the cost of this 3,000 naira toll fee. Road may become highway for exploitation and fraud. And the organized labor has also spoken. Also, costs must be recovered. Unwilling motorists should ply alternative routes. That's according to an APC scribe. These are some of the stories on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Do well to grab a copy of any of the papers that we reviewed this morning if any of the stories there caught your attention. For me, well, I'm looking forward to see how it plays out in Rivers State.
Exactly. I'm actually looking forward to that as well.
It's been an interesting and a really interesting situation in Rivers State. It used to be Kano State for me, to see the way
and Edo State.
And Edo State, especially regarding the deputy governor, the debacle on how he was impeached and another individual replaced him. So we have a new deputy governor in Edo State. But basically what this means is on the political scene, it's really quite interesting, and we do hope to see the turn of events across these different states in the country. But with that, for me, well, we've come to the end of the program. Maria, you're smiling. I think you had a great time on the show today.
Yes, I did. And when you talked about Edo State, and I heard, I just reminisced on what the new deputy governor kept saying. It's all about loyalty.
It's all about loyalty. I don't want to talk about the former deputy governor. Let me talk about myself. All right,
I see that. I see that. It's been wonderful on the show today. And I'd like to say thank you for always joining us on Daybreak. And don't forget that tomorrow's Daybreak Extra promises to be interesting. Two beautiful ladies will be here to take you on that ride.
Indeed. Thank you so much for being a part of Daybreak this morning. Thank you so much for making us your day starter. Do enjoy that cup of tea, coffee, or your favorite beverage. We'll be back again on Monday to serve you more on Daybreak. For me, it's thank you so much for being a part of the program. Have a lovely weekend.